Hello, hello. Welcome to your English lesson for today, Tuesday, May 12th. I'm getting better at remembering what the date is, guys. I am patting myself on the back because I didn't have to look at my agenda on that one. Woohoo! It only took, we've been doing online learning for almost 7 weeks, 8 weeks. It only took 7 weeks for me to get it down. All right, and I have it down just in time for us to end, right? Well, if we're doing virtual learning next year, I will be set. All right, so in English today, we are looking at workbook pages 285 and 286. Now, this whole chapter has been pretty doable, I would say. Yesterday, we talked again about full sentences, complete sentences, or independent clauses. Do you guys remember talking about independent clauses? Independent clauses is a sentence. It's a complete thought. It has a subject, it has a predicate, and it can stand on its own. All right? Now, the word independent means that, right? It means that you are self-sufficient. You are able to stand on your own. A lot of you are not independent in the bigger tense because you still live with mom and dad. You need mom and dad to provide food and to provide shelter for you, right? When you get to the point in life where you're in my age bracket, then you will most likely be independent. You'll have your own job, you'll pay for your own food, you'll pay for your own housing. Maybe some of you will be paying for your own kids. Now, the opposite of independent is dependent. So you guys are dependent on your parents to take care of you, right? To pay for things. Dependent means that you cannot stand on your own. So today in English, our title or our lesson is focusing on dependent clauses. I want you guys to remember dependent cannot stand on its own or is not a complete sentence, okay? Independent clause, complete sentence. Dependent clause, it's not a complete sentence. So let's look. Just to review, look at the top of your page, 285. An independent clause has a subject and a predicate. It expresses a complete thought and can stand alone. It is a sentence. Look at the purple sentence. I am 10 years old. Your subject is I. Your predicate is am, right? And then 10 years old just helps to complete that sentence. I am 10 years old. That makes complete sense. If I were to tell you I am 10 years old, you'd understand. Now, a dependent clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. So this does have a subject and it does have a predicate, but it cannot stand alone as a sentence. A dependent clause does not express a complete thought. A dependent clause is another type of fragment. Now, here's an example of a dependent clause. When I am 10 years old. When you are 10 years old, what? What will you do then? I don't understand. That sentence is not finished, right? That leaves you on a cliffhanger. Now, a dependent clause begins with a joining word, such as although, because, since, until, when, and where. All of these words are joining words, and they give the impression that more is coming in the sentence, right? When I am 10 years old, I will get a bike. Right? The dependent clause says there's more coming. When I am 10 years old, this is going to happen. All right? But look at the dependent clause. When I am 10 years old has a subject and it has a predicate, but it's not a complete sentence because it started with a joining word. If you took that when out, it would be a full sentence. I am 10 years old, right? But because that joining word is in the beginning, I don't know, looks like right here, in the beginning of the sentence, it says more is coming. It says that I can't stand by myself. There's something else to this sentence. Let's look at some more. Because Sarah is sick, until Sarah feels well. Now, this is where we get into a little bit of trouble when we're answering questions, right? For example, on your reading workbook pages, if I asked you, here are the questions, write the answer, and I want your answers to be in complete sentences. If you answered, because Sarah is sick, if the question was, why did Sarah stay home from the cheerleading tournament? And you said, because Sarah is sick, that's not a complete sentence, right? That's a dependent clause. Because Sarah was sick, what? Because Sarah is sick. No, it needs to be a complete sentence, right? How to fix that? We could fix it by saying, Sarah stayed home because she is sick. All right. There has to be more to it. It's not a sentence on its own. It's a fragment. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Look at guided practice. You're going to write I see, independent clause. If the clause is an independent clause or a sentence that can stand on its own. Write DC if the clause is a dependent clause. And remember, dependent clause, you'll always have that joining word. So they want you to circle the joining word in each dependent clause. What made you think, oh, that's a dependent clause, okay? Because remember, all of these sentences are going to have a subject and a predicate. It's just a matter of that joining word, all right? Let's practice. Number 1, White Cliffs are near Cape Blanco Lighthouse. All right. We have our subject, cliffs, our predicate, are, and we don't have any joining words. So that is a complete sentence, right? That can stand alone. So I would put I see for number 1. I see for number 1. Number 2, because the lighthouse is located in Oregon. Because what? You know, where is that sentence going? Do you feel like there's like unfinished wording there? I think so. Remember, there's our joining word too, because. So you should be circling because, and this is a dependent clause. You should put DC, DC. Number 3, where the Oregon coastline is ragged. Where the Oregon coastline is ragged. Is that a complete thought? Do you understand? Do you have a good picture in your head? I bet they're all different if you do, right? This isn't a specific sentence and it leaves you wanting more, right? It's not finished. So this is a DC. Can you figure out what your joining word is? This joining word doesn't really seem like a joining word, but it is. What is it? If you circled where, you got it. Now, here's the clue to finding a joining word. A joining word can be taken out of a dependent clause and it makes it a full, complete sentence, right? If we took where out, it would say the Oregon coastline is ragged, and that is a complete thought, right? If we took out any of the other words, it wouldn't work out. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't sound right, all right? The joining word should be able to be taken out of the sentence and it still makes sense, okay? All right, number 4, it is the tallest lighthouse in Oregon. Is there a joining word in there? No, because there's no joining word, that's an IC, an independent clause. That's a full sentence. Number 5, James Langlois was the keeper for 42 years. Dang, that's a long stint. 42 years of being a lighthouse keeper. Cool. Do you see any joining words? I don't see any joining words. This is an IC, independent clause. I almost said incomplete clause. That's like the opposite of what an independent clause is. All right, number 6, when the war started. What happened when the war started? What do you mean when the war started? Where are you going with this, right? This is not a complete sentence. This is a dependent clause. Dependent. It depends on the other part of the sentence to be a full sentence. What is your joining word? What word can you take out of there? If you took out when, it would be the war started. That's a good sentence. If you took out the, when war started, no. Take out war, when the started, no. Take out started, when the war, no. The only word that we can take out and the sentence continue to be a sentence, or sentence is a sentence, is when. So that's our joining word. When should be circled. For number 7, the lighthouse is popular. Is that a complete sentence? Do you see any joining words? No, I'd put IC on that one. IC on that one. And number 8, because visitors were given a tour by the keeper. What happened because of that? What do you mean? Dependent clause, DC. Find your joining word. What is your joining word? Because. Circle because. Did you get that? Is this easy? Are you starting to understand? I'm hoping so. If not, guys, ask mom, ask dad. They should be able to read the examples and see exactly what you should be doing. They can help you out, okay? All right, so one more time, I'm going to tell you the answers. 1 was IC, 2 was DC, 3 was DC, 4 was IC, 5 was IC, 6 was DC, 7 was icy, and 8 was DC. That sounds like I'm saying icy, like it's an icy day. No, I-C. And then don't forget, on those DCs, you should have circled your joining word. There were 4 circles that you should have made, okay? All right, guys, I want you to put a heart around that lighthouse. There's your Easter egg for today. Easter egg, heart around the lighthouse. Let's look at the back page. Look at the back page. So we're on page 286. It is the exact same thing that you did on the front. You are writing IC if the sentence is an independent clause. You're writing DC if the sentence is a dependent clause. If it's a dependent clause, you need to circle your joining word. All right, and I'll give you a hint. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dependent clauses. Can you find them? Look at apply and write. Some lighthouses were difficult to build because of their locations on rocky land. Write a sentence explaining one of the dangers that a construction crew might face. Ooh, this could be interesting. I want you guys to go ahead and do this one. You just need to write, so let's see, one sentence about explaining one of the dangers that a construction crew might face while they're building a lighthouse on rocky land. Rocky land, okay? All right. That's it for language today. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about fragments and then using commas. And then on Friday, guys, it'll be a chapter review and you guys will be done with this chapter. Woohoo! Look how quickly that went. That went pretty quickly. And this chapter was a fun one to end on because it was kind of doable, kind of easy, kind of simple. Wouldn't you guys agree? Are you guys doing okay with these concepts? I hope so. All right, guys, that is the end of this. I will see you in your next video. Goodbye.